Welcome. I'm Harmony Slater, your host of the Finding Harmony podcast. Over the past 20 years, I've taught thousands of yoga teachers and students to explore the intersection between ancient wisdom and modern everyday life, using mind-body practices to heal, awaken, and manifest their dreams from the inside out. This podcast is a sanctuary for those feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. Are you ready to jump in and discover how these challenges aren't actually in the way, but are the way to finding harmony? Let's invite the magic back in. Welcome back. I realize that I've been leading you down a very fascinating path. And if you're still here this week with me, then I know exactly who you are and what you're interested in. So this week, we're going to take this one level deeper. And I hope that you're willing to go there with me and you're curious, you're interested, you're open, and you're fascinated with taking a dip into the unseen world. My question to you as we begin today's conversation and episode is, what if that voice of intuition that you've identified, that you've been hearing, isn't just your imagination or some sort of inclination, right? Like maybe not. What if consciousness, your consciousness, my consciousness, every being's consciousness is far bigger than the limitations of our five senses? And what if this consciousness, even with physical objects, what if physical objects have low levels of consciousness? What is consciousness? That's the real question. Is consciousness something that is innate or is undeniably a part of matter? Is it so connected to those quarks and those electrons and neutrons and the relationships created through the electrons and the neutrons and the quarks and the subatomic particles? Is consciousness embedded in that level of reality? And if so, then we have to extrapolate that proposition to the fact that it's true. Low-level conscious beings, i.e. this microphone and our computers, are here in some way, having some form of consciousness. So today's conversation is going to go into some territory that many people feel curious about, but few people are willing to talk about openly. Because we are speaking with Stephanie Banks about channeling. What is it? What exactly is channeling? What are you channeling? How does it happen? Why are so many people afraid of it? Why are so many people quietly discovering that they might also have a connection to non-physical realms? And what is actually going on right now with humanity and this collective waking up, and that we're starting to kind of go back in time to a place where we were much more connected to energy and to potentially entities, to consciousness, to beings that are maybe non-physical. And so if you've listened to the previous episode last week where we spoke with Eileen March, we gently explored reclaiming your own intuition, your innate healing capacity. We looked at this witch wound and remembered how unsafe it felt to believe in anything that wasn't physically felt or seen or proven, that empiricism really drove out any talk or connection to anything beyond what we could physically prove with quote unquote science, right? Which was very limited to Newtonian physics and was not at that time talking about quantum mechanics or the quantum realm. And so this week, we are going to go a little bit further into this forest, along this path, exploring what happens when you move just beyond those intuitive hits that you're getting and you start receiving guidance, messages, visions from beyond the physical plane. And so Stephanie, our beautiful guest today, has given me a channeling session, and she is going to share how her abilities began to open, how she learned to trust the messages that she was receiving, and why she believes that many of us, if not all of us, have the capacity to access these expanded states of awareness and consciousness and to receive messages from the beyond. And I also, a few years ago, I think I was always a very sensitive child. I think I was always very much connected to things, especially when I was younger, that I couldn't explain or talk about. I had pretend friends. I still remember one of my pretend friends. His name was Todd. He was very close to me. I had messages about things at that time that didn't make sense to me, and my parents said that's not real, but I received messages about things that actually later in life turned out to be real and turned out to be the case. And so I then, at one point in my life, started to suppress and dampen these abilities and these messages, right? At some point, your parents say you have to focus on your real friends and real people and pretend friends, and even calling them pretend friends makes it sound like they're not real. Like, what is pretend? What is real, right? And so, of course, like every child who is very sensitive and talking to beings or pretend friends that other people can't see, you start to dampen some of those connections and some of those abilities. And then we go on our own little merry path. And perhaps at some point, like what happened for me, is that light language started to awaken and move through me. And that started to open up kind of the somatic healing vibrations that often get channeled through me during spinal energetic sessions. And what I've learned is that our body has its own somatic language. Our body understands reality, understands connection through vibration, through light, through frequency. And sounds are, of course, one of the most primal ways that we understand, that we connect not only to ourselves, but to reality and to potentially other dimensions, if you're willing to go there with me. And so today we're going there. So fasten your seatbelt, hang on, because what I've come to realize is that channeling is very much connected to our physical bodies. It isn't separate from it. And so if you've been wondering about your own psychic gifts, or if you're having some openness to multidimensional awareness, or the possibility that communication might exist across different planes of reality, I hope that this conversation helps to kick that door down for you, because we are going to be talking to one of the experts who can channel language and messages from different realms, different beings, different entities, from earth consciousness, from inanimate beings, objects, as well as animals. It's all open today for our conversation, for our exploration. And so I'm so excited you're here for this and that you're coming along. I also want to remind you, if you want a super transformational experience, we have had our first radiant energy session. Angelica and I and an intimate group of women have had just the most profound session. It happened just on Saturday. You can still come into the program and catch the first replay and join us for all of the remaining sessions. We are joined as a group. We're holding you in our field, in our consciousness, in our collective energy. So if you want to come in and connect to your own psychic gifts, your own intuition, your own innate energy and intelligence and ability to heal, then 100% send me a DM on Instagram at Harmony Slater Official, or click the link in the show notes and come into the program. It is so powerful. I want everyone to be able to experience these sessions because real transformation is available for you. So on that note, let's jump into this conversation with Stephanie Banks, who I adore and is just a beautiful human being. Hello, welcome. We're back. Russell's here again.
Welcome to the Finding Harmony podcast. This is your host, Harmony Slater. Actually, Harmony Case. I'm your co-host, just your co-host.
Russell Slater?
Russell Case. Yeah.
But we have...
Not my decision, by the way. Not the most feminist thing that Harmony's ever done, but...
we have an incredible guest today, Stephanie Banks. Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm great.
You go by Steph?
I don't think we're quite there yet. So
not between the three of us. I understand.
Stephanie is fine.
So
Beautiful.
are you one of us? Are you a Gen Xer? I can't quite tell. Your skin is so clear and fresh.
Oh, is it?
Oh my
Don't you see
goodness.
this blemish
No,
right here?
not whatsoever. No, you look amazing. Are you but maybe Gen X, maybe, or you
Oh,
qualify as
what
a
does
millennial?
that mean? I think I'm gonna show my
19
age now. Like, what are the years?
1979 is the
Or
cutoff.
earlier.
And so
Oh,
she's a 19
yes. Then yes.
Gen
Yes.
X,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Thanks for
Breakfast Club.
explaining that.
That's what this is.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay,
Now,
cool.
now
All
you
right.
got me.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So Gen X growing up in Florida in Boca Raton,
Mhm.
and you decide to get out. And as I understand, you started to notice some issues with mom. I think you mentioned on your website frontotemporal disorder. Is that what it's called?
Dementia.
Dementia.
Mhm.
And you had an awakening. I wonder if you could kind of expand on that and describe to our audiences where you were when this happened for you.
So, okay. Let's see. My mom's symptoms of her dementia started probably when she was in her late 40s, definitely by her early 50s. It was
Mhm.
not your typical dementia like we think of Alzheimer's. It is a type that affects people when they're younger. And at the time, they didn't really even have a good way to diagnose it. So for years, we were trying to sort out what is going on here and how it was personality changes and severe mood swings and of course memory disruptions and some language involvement. And I was a speech pathologist at the time, so I had a lot of clinical background in dementia, cognitive decline and disorders, and I thought I'll just handle this from a clinical perspective. But she was not a good patient. So
Probably especially with her daughter.
exactly, exactly. So that quickly, I realized quickly that was not going to work. And at the time, I had recently relocated back to Florida
Mhm.
because her symptoms were becoming so significant that I could see that my parents could benefit from some extra support. And I had a couple young children at the time, and I could benefit from some extra support.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we relocated here, and I met a new best friend. And my new best friend was a very gifted channeler. Now,
Ooh.
I did not know, right? I know everyone needs a best friend like
Huh.
that. I did not know what channeling was.
Nor do I.
Yeah, okay, cool. Then you are.
Was she famous or just really gifted?
No, she wasn't famous, but she was
Okay.
super gifted. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay,
my
Russell.
wife told me
Yes.
to do some research on this before the
Okay.
show. I didn't do anything. I
So
didn't.
you are in the dark completely. That's how
Yeah.
we like you. Yes.
Okay. It's
Yes.
often where my wife also likes to keep me in the closet. Mm, as it turns out.
So this
Mm.
friend's name was Jen. I'm only using past tense because she's on the other side now.
Okay.
But channeling, as I learned, as I experienced, as I witnessed from her, was simply connecting to souls. Connecting to souls, that's it, connecting to spirit. And she would channel souls that were here walking around in bodies. I know. I
Huh.
was like, "What? What is this? How are you
Okay.
doing this?" But I will tell you, I could feel it in my bones, the resonance and the truth and the beauty and the love that she was channeling. So when I saw what she could do and that there were really no limits to what energy or soul she could bring through, I asked her to channel my mom. At that time, most of my interactions with my mom were incredibly frustrating. She was not understanding me. I was getting impatient with her. We were bumping up against each other constantly. And I was so desperate for her to have the type of grandmother relationship I knew she wanted to have with her grandkids. And I really wanted the kind of relationship with my mom that I had anticipated enjoying, at that stage of my life. So my friend Jen channeled my mom's soul again, Russell, for you, while she's still living.
Wow.
So,
I'm
yeah,
not
go
sure I
ahead.
even believe in a soul after
Sounds
we
kind
stop
of
living, but okay.
it sounds kind of like mind reading in a
Mm.
way.
No, no,
Different.
no, no. There is nothing. Let me be clear, because nobody wants to be reading anyone else's mind by choice. Like, there's a
Oh,
bad neighborhood up there, right? So
yeah. Good point.
The soul is not the mind. The soul is the eternal aspect of us, the
Mhm.
part that continues forever. You can have your doubts, Russell. It's all good. It's all
We're
good.
getting into some territory that I do respect, which is the Atman and the Paramatman. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Mm.
Good.
Oh,
You
you lit up when I said that. That's amazing.
yeah.
Okay.
You use whatever Sanskrit you need to
Mm.
connect with what we're saying. Yes.
Okay.
All good. It's all welcome here.
You know what? Can we
What?
just pause for a second when we talk about the soul? It's really interesting because
Do you need a bathroom break?
I was telling you
Mm.
about this the other
Mm.
day about the receptors in the brain that are positioned like antenna, and it's like a real physiological thing. Like our brain has these receptors that are like receiving information.
I think those are your ears.
No. And I thought to myself, huh, that's interesting. I feel like there could be like this channeling and souls. Like maybe there's souls that are just like using our bodies and we're just like kind of moving around the planet, responding to energy from
Wow. Okay.
another
Dial it
another
back in, hon.
dimension.
Dial it back in. That's good.
I do appreciate the little sprinkling of wonder that has just been brought in. Okay, so in my experience of channeling, brain receptors or not,
Yeah.
everyone is able to do this. I believe that we are divine energy. It's not that we go outside of ourselves for this. We just have to shut up. We have to get quiet. We have to get still. We have to learn how to listen. And when my friend channeled my mom, it let me ask questions that I had of her soul, such as why dementia? Like, of all the things, afflictions we might have, like this one seems pretty intense. And what's, is there meaning behind this? What's going on? How can I support you? That was another question that I wanted to know. What is your soul here to do in the remaining journey of this lived lifetime, so that I know how to get out of your way or how to assist you in making things happen? I asked her things like specifics, what do you need from me? Where am I showing up? Where am I not showing up for you? Are you scared of anything? Because these were things that she could not easily access if I had introduced them in a regular traditional verbal conversation. So I used soul communication to stay connected to my mom through the rest of her dementia. And it completely changed our relationship.
How so? Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to tell you. It went from frustration and, just like I'm sure she felt too. There's just sort of this dread of what are we gonna talk about? What can I connect with her on? How can I set up a play situation with my kids where she can experience success and they can experience the grandma that I know, she can be. So I was always trying to orchestrate things. It's very effortful, very exhausting. But once I heard from her soul and once I learned what she actually did need from me, and she basically told me where I was really annoying her and where I was overstepping my own boundaries, whereas I thought I was actually helping, I was able to let a lot go. I was able to make different choices in our communication and conversation. I was able to stop insisting that she join us in our reality, which her soul told me, it's not that interesting, Stephanie. What you guys are talking about, I don't need to be part of all the time. I
Mhm.
kept wanting to bring her in because I thought it would make her feel more engaged with us. But what I didn't realize is when she would sometimes look glazed over or in a daze, she's actually traveling, doing, visiting with ancestors and really beautiful things that I didn't even know about because I didn't know. So I got to choose how to join her, and we became more playful, and we would just sing and dance together instead of try to have meaningful verbal conversations, and it changed everything.
Nice. It sounds like you shifted from operating on a mental plane, like the mind reading
Yeah,
situation, to to more of like that heart-centered,
yeah,
like soul connection that we would kind of, it's just funny when we talk about soul, I always feel like it's very much connected to the heart area, right? Like to just being with rather than
yes.
trying to make something happen or talking about or like all the mind stuff that you
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, what
that's
is
how I think of it. Yeah.
it is super interesting because like for whatever rational approach you can take to the work, like you have to say that you had a very positive change in the relationship to your mom based on this activity that you were doing, which allowed you to have trust in the activity as well. I wonder if you can tell us more about what that looks like, or maybe you did just explain it, and I'm not catching on. But are you kind of entering a kind of meditative state? You're sitting or walking, and you're asking questions. Like, can you walk us through that and how it was
Mhm.
taught to you by this lovely channeling woman who's since passed on?
Yeah. So my experience of it as someone who had very limited pre-exposure to it was we would sit together. She lived very close to me and we used to get together a lot. And so we would sit together and I would say to her, "Can you channel my mom? These are the questions that I'd like to ask her soul." And then my friend at the time, the way she channeled was she held a pendulum. It was just a tool, but it wasn't actually spelling anything out for her anymore, but that's how she initially learned to channel, as did I when I went to one of her mentors. So she would hold a pendulum, it would swing around, and she would close her eyes, and language, words, streams of sentences, paragraphs would come through
Mm,
from the perspective of the soul we were asking to hear from, in this case, my mom.
Hmm.
So my mom's essence would bring forward a whole litany of, this is what's going on, this is what's working, this is what I need from you, this is what will work better, this is how we can stop taking ourselves so seriously, this, whatever it was, whatever, always in response to my questions, and always exactly what I needed to hear with further explanation so that I could really drop into that and make it usable and functional for myself. So when I learned to channel, I learned from several different teachers. One of them started teaching us by first using a pendulum, and we would use it first to answer yes or no questions, learning how it moves when it's responding to yes or no. And then we would use an alphabet grid. I'm going to show it because people sometimes think it's a Ouija board, and no, it is not. It's this.
I did think to myself, I
Oh
wonder if this
yeah.
is like a Ouija board.
No, it's not. It's just like it's not mind reading, it's not Ouija board. So this is just something that one of my clients actually customizes for me because I use it in my classes.
Beautiful.
And you hold your pendulum over it and you can ask, for example, may I please have the name of a spirit guide that's with me right now? Or can I please have the name spelled of an ancestor that is present with me right now? And then if you have patience, this is not for the impatient among us. If you have patience, the pendulum will swing to a letter. Then you verify that that letter is correct. Then you move on to the next letter. Can you imagine how cumbersome this is? Yes.
I would hope for short names.
Yes, exactly. Nicknames are welcomed. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is what weeds out people who, in my classes, people who are willing to commit to a
Mm.
practice of being a clear channel, and those who are like, forget it. I don't want to
Yeah.
even deal with it. You don't have to be good at using a pendulum to be a very, very effective channel. I do not use a pendulum anymore. I use it to teach for the reasons that I just told you, but I do not need it. I have the fluidity and the fluency, thankfully, because I put in the thousands of hours of practice to do so. But yes, and there's many ways to learn to channel, but my point that I would love to get across is that we all are channeling all the time.
Mm.
Many different forms. Art is channeling, music is channeling, dance is channeling, writing is channeling, cooking is channeling, anything in the creative pursuits, creative arts, that is a form of channeling. That is divine inspiration, divine connection. So I teach people how to channel all the time. I have yet to meet someone who can't.
Oh, I love that you said that because I always say that. I always say that all of this creative energy is just channeling. So
Yes.
I feel very affirmed now.
That's I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a painter, and one of the things that you discover as a painter is that when it's working, you're you're just letting go of the wheel. and
Yes.
the car is driving itself, and you're just witness to a painting making itself. And so often struggle with, how the replication of that event. How can my
Mhm.
next painting also be an exercise in letting this thing go and happen? One of the things that you see is things like the surrealists and Dada from 100 years ago. People were making a real effort to unlock themselves from the inhibitions of class and ethnicity and training, trying to dive into their unconscious through techniques that you're describing in channeling,
Yeah.
leaving things up to chance, leaving things up to intuition. And it also kind of reminds me of prayer. Like you would
Mhm.
find a place to pray to your God and ask for guidance, and then you would receive wisdom. And I guess I would just ask, do you see these as separate techniques, or as all kinds of nodes of the same paradigm?
I see them as many, many different pathways to get to the same place, which is to get in flow. That's what you're describing when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about painting, when you're talking about art or your creative arts. When we are in flow, which is what's happening when I'm channeling, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
learned how to get out of the way, get the personality, get out of the way, and listen for, attune to, align with the highest loving energy that's available, which
Mm-hmm.
I do describe as fifth dimensional consciousness. We don't have to get into like the labels of all the different ones, it doesn't matter. But fifth dimensional consciousness is unity consciousness. It's only love, it's the highest love.
Mm-hmm.
So when I channel and when I teach channeling, that is the place from which to channel. And that I would imagine is also the place from which the artistic inspiration is flowing through.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
How can like somebody be you said like people who are a clear channel or
Mhm.
like more connected, I'm assume. How can you become that or what do you need to do?
Yeah. Well, very basically, you need to really, really, really love yourself.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you do not believe that you are a divine being or a child of God or whatever you want to call it and created in divine image with perfection, even though humans, there's nothing perfect, right? But we are perfectly imperfect. And you think lowly of yourself or poorly of yourself, that will automatically translate to how you treat yourself, your self-talk, your self-care, your the nature of the relationships and how you show up to serve in them, etc. If all of that is on the lower vibrational end, that's actually what you're going to be channeling is
Mm.
from, yeah, it's icky. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you don't want that. So when I'm talking about a clear channel, I'm talking about one who is working to have such a foundation of their self compassion, self love, self care, self appreciation, that
Mhm.
they view them. I know that I am highly worthy of divine inspiration, of divine communication, of connection to whatever realms of beauty and love and exquisiteness I want to tap into. I know that. I
Yeah.
believe that about everyone, but not everyone believes that about themselves. And so that in itself is a practice, right? That's a way of like shifting your focus, your belief system, your actions towards yourself. So, at the most basic foundation, self love can get you closer to the sort of guidance and insight that you want from divine energy, which is what you really are. But divine energy is also waiting for you to peel away those layers and acknowledge that and celebrate that.
Mm.
That's what
Oh,
I think.
wow.
I love that. That's awesome.
Uh,
So powerful. I thought you were going to say like be vegetarian.
well, you should
Well,
be
that
vegetarian.
matters, but
Yeah.
we can talk about that
She
later.
is a plant-based dietitian. I wonder, when I ask people questions about themselves, I always I feel compelled to just keep going and going and going. And I want to find out about your grandparents, and Harmony
Okay.
would like me to dial it back in. That said, I'm interested in this transformation that you made from being a speech pathologist to being a full-time teacher of channeling. But of
Mhm.
course, now I want to know why you became a speech pathologist in the first place. And Harmony was like, nope, Stop
Mm.
it.
Yeah. No, let me
They're
think.
kind of related in a
I
weird
would
way,
think
though.
Oh, so
so.
related. Well,
Okay.
actually, so my professional career includes being a speech pathologist, a lactation consultant, an
Oh.
infant massage instructor, a birth doula, a
Oh,
childbirth educator, and all of these things are connected.
wow.
All of
Yeah,
them are
that's
connected. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, thinking back to what made me decide to try out speech pathology, it really was a random conversation with another college student when I was a freshman who said, I just started taking this really cool class. Did you know that when you cough, it's the most violent thing you can do to your vocal cords because they slam together? And I thought, huh, did not know that. Never
Mm,
thought about the vocal cords. Tell me more. And then I just kind of followed my interest down
mm,
that path, and it happened to be something that held my interest. I love using the left side of my brain. I love being clinical. I love being logical. I love treating people. I worked in hospitals for a couple decades. I worked with newborn babies, teaching them how to feed. I
uh,
mean, it was just amazing and awesome, and yeah, I loved that career.
Mhm.
uh,
So I don't miss it. I'm really loving what I'm doing now, but I'm so glad I had that and did that. And I think something just drew me into the medical aspect of it. I'm always really interested in that.
mm.
And then how I got here really again was random meeting a friend who did something badass, and I thought I want that too. So here we go.
Wow.
Huh.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, I had an amazing session with you, and I'm
Oh,
so
can we
curious.
hear about that? Can we
Yeah.
talk about that on
Certainly,
air?
whatever she
Yeah.
wants to
What that was
share.
like?
But yeah, it was really cool.
Tell us the whole thing.
I can't really tell you the whole thing. I
Oh,
mean,
you don't like to talk about
no,
yourself,
I
I
hate
forgot.
it.
But yet you have a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is no me, so what is there to talk about? It's just a
The
fabrication.
hangings on the
Um,
wall of the self. Just do talk about the things that you hang up there.
but what I'm curious
Mm.
about is, so when we started this session, you gave me some options around channeling like nature, spirits, entities, other dimensions, ancestors, beings who are still embodied here. Do all of these have like a different vibrational frequency? How can you tell what is coming through?
So, yeah, they feel different to me when I'm channeling them, but the way I know what's coming through is that I have requested it.
Ah.
Yes, and this is
Ah.
this is different than how many channelers work. Some work and say, "Oh, so and so is here now. Here's the message from so and so." But I prefer to ring a bell and ask for that particular being. So if it's an ancestor on the other side, you let me know. And if you want Great Aunt Trudy, I ask, Great Aunt Trudy, are you here? She tells me yay or nay, and we channel her. If she does not wish to come through and you really do want to make a connection with her, then a spirit guide on her behalf will come through to provide that insight and message for you, which is really very cool. And then, yes, anything in the natural world we can channel. I channel animals and plants and trees and Mother Earth herself. Anything is game. There's nothing that's off limits because everything has essence and spirit and soul to it.
That's something that we're kind of coming to evolve, a thought style or belief system that we're coming to evolve in
I've always been there.
is that we're nodes on a great wheel of consciousness, and all things
Mhm.
are nodes. And
They're all conscious. Everything's
this remote
conscious. It
control
has
Yes.
is
some
a low level
consciousness.
conscious being that is also a node in this field of consciousness.
I think you really like to say the word node.
Yeah, today he does. I don't know. It's like an obsession.
I've said it like twice today, I think.
It's because I
Uh,
Oh,
started
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
the receptors in the brain.
I bought Harmony a book for Christmas, which was the DMT spirit guides and
DMT.
entities, and so it's
Okay.
an illustration of those entities. And so as you go, as you rip open the veil of Maya and you delve deep into those fields, you start to evidently see these deities and spirits.
Well, it's interesting that different people across, say, the planet, right, have very similar impressions of
Mm.
Particular
particular sort of
spirit
entities,
entities.
spirits. other dimensional beings.
Terence McKenna would often reference if you go deep enough into psilocybin, everyone will experience the elves talking to them.
Mm.
And I feel like I only ever like receive abuse from those things.
Wait. Are you being abused by elves?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
you're tracking. That's
That's because they're
that's
trying
good.
to help you. They're trying to
So
teach you.
Harmony has comically referred to them as my knife guide. My knife
Oh.
guide who wants to abuse me with the little knives. Do you have
But
anything that you
yeah,
could
what do you think
offer
about that? Like, are
as
they always like, is there like, yeah, what are all these dimensions and how do we connect to other dimensional
how can I
beings?
stop the abuse? That's
Oh, I have no idea. I'm so sorry. You're gonna need another specialist for this.
okay. All right. All right. We'll talk to the Terence McKenna Foundation or somebody there.
Here's what I will say though. When I'm teaching channeling, if someone is having the experience of a presence that doesn't feel comfortable to them, an abusive elf would fall into this category.
Yeah.
I agree
Okay. So
completely.
let's just say you're in my class and an abusive elf is present and you are feeling battered or whatever it is. I
Mhm.
do teach that you have not only the right, but the responsibility to cease that connection, create a more robust boundary,
Mhm.
communicate to your support network, your higher self, the guides and love around you. This is the place from which I would like to receive. I want things to feel this way. I want them to be higher vibrational, more loving, unconditionally accepting, feel warm, feel expansive, feel accepting, whatever, you define that. And then go back into your meditative state, your channeling state. I do not believe that we have to just absorb or endure whatever and whoever wants to be in our field. Do we do that with other humans? Gosh, I hope not.
No,
No.
Right?
the
So
president
don't
knows.
do that with the spirit world either, because there's riffraff, just like there's humans that you would not want to be within 100 feet of.
Mhm.
There's energy here that is not for you. And so this has to do with maintaining a clear energetic boundary. And that is what allows for you to channel from whatever frequency you can muster and maintain and sustain within yourself.
Ooh.
Well,
Okay,
that
this
sort of autonomy is exactly what Terence McKenna recommends. Thank you for that. That's
yeah,
nice.
okay. But also this sparked another question that I have around like how do people create these strong energetic boundaries? I often talk about this with some clients. I work with a lot of like highly empathetic people who
Mhm.
are healers, energy workers, and they're often kind of taking on other people's
Yep.
emotions and energy. And I'm always encouraging to create like, this is my energy, my space,
Mhm.
this is your energy, your space, and not to like, to know what's yours and what isn't yours.
Yes.
How do you do that as a channel?
Same way you would tell people how to do it. First, we're working on discernment, right? Like, what is mine?
Mhm,
And so I would ask, because I'm also highly empathic, as you might imagine. And so if I would sense something or feel something, I would say, is this mine? Your body will tell you. Your body never, ever, ever lies. It doesn't know how to lie. It has absolutely no reason to lie. It will never lie to you. So when you have established what your body's yes is and what your body's no is,
mhm,
you can quickly zip through, is this mine? No. Okay, cool. I'm leaving it, or I'm moving it further to the outside of my field. Is this mine? Yes. Oh, okay. Is there something I need to do with this right now? Yes or no? Okay. Do I have support right now to work on this thing? Yes or no? Most things you can ask, you can find a way to conceptualize in a yes or no question.
mhm,
So most of the things you want to ask about, once you learn what your yes feels like and what your no feels like, you can get the information to that. If you want to know how to maintain yourself within a deeply loving bubble, I'm going to refer us back to about 10 minutes ago where I said self-love,
Yeah.
self-compassion, self-appreciation, self-celebration, right? Like that's it.
Yeah.
And if you are so full of love of yourself, which I believe we're meant to be, this is not ego. This is like how we're meant to enjoy this journey in this time, then much of this stuff is going to bounce off of you. You're not even going to be picking up on it. The stuff that does get through, good information. Where did I maybe have a little bit more permeability, right? Where did I maybe spend a little bit too much time with this person, whether in their proximity or in my thinking about them or in my old beliefs that I should serve them simply because they're struggling. So there's a lot of growth that you can have with understanding that. But you have, all of us have, a very expansive set of guides who are devoted to our protection. They have a very complicated name, though. They're called your guides of protection.
Ooh, that'll be hard to remember.
Mhm. That's amazing.
So
Mm.
call them in always. You got to talk to your mother-in-law, call in your guides of protection. You got to go to Costco, call in your
Yeah.
guides of protection, right?
Yeah, yeah. Costco's a good one.
My mother-in-law is a good one. Mm. That's
They
good.
have great deflecting mechanisms, you know.
Yeah.
We're not alone. Why are we still acting like we're alone?
Yeah.
To that point,
Yeah.
a lot of my friends talk about this dynamic where everything is fine. Our world is fine, our home is fine, our relationships are basically fine with our dogs and in-laws. It's fine. And then you go to your phone and we're all deeply struggling with the fact of the American president having frontotemporal dementia, and we're all suffering that. It sounds like you would extend the same counsel to that world that we're struggling with.
Around boundaries or self-love?
Yeah.
Everything.
So, full transparency, I have no positive feelings towards the individual you just mentioned.
He who shall not be named. Yes.
Nor do I think that anything that's going on in that realm is fine. It's not fine. It's not fine.
Yeah.
And we know this. We know this. So there is a part that I am to play here. It's what my soul came forward to play. I don't always know moment to moment what it is until I ask or until I take action. And then I feel, oh, yeah, that was the thing. Or, oh, I think I missed the mark. Maybe it's in this organization, or maybe it's with this, whatever it is. But we, all of us, agreed to be here now, to be embodied now, to be witnesses to systems and structures that are disintegrating, and that is causing great pain and suffering and unnecessarily. I think of it as like midwifing a new life, right? But we also have to hospice the old. And they're happening at the same time, and that's a very difficult tension to hold. So things might feel okay when you close in your bubble, you know, and okay, well, my practices are good and my family is okay, et cetera. But we're more than that. Humans are one family. And we're not, by the way, newsflash, we are not dominant in any way over any other being, any other living being. Like I do not believe in that. Look at where it's gotten us, this whole human domination. So I have as much value in my heart for a worm, an insect, a bird, a dog. Like I will go to the ends of the earth to rescue something.
Yeah.
Because there is value inherent in all the life forms that are here. So knowing that, and that's how I'm built. Not everybody's built like that. That's fine. Find out how you're built and go out in service to that. How do you find out what to serve? What breaks your heart? Serve into that. So I know that's a bit of a soapbox, but I'm fired up about this. We're not here to sit back and pretend or be like, well, it's not great out there, but it's totally fine in here. I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do that.
I've pulled my car over to save a spider on my windshield. I will not stand for it.
I think that that's
you.
so important because it's so easy, especially in like these spiritual circles, people go insular into their practices, you know, whatever those practices are, and then they're just sort of looking outside, and it's easy to sort of be like, oh, it's love and light and I'm just going to ignore the darkness,
Hmm.
but that's not helpful.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, and it's called spiritual bypassing for a reason,
Right.
right? This is a thing, and we need to, with love, bring them back into the fold, because we are all actually here in service to the world that our hearts know is possible. And that doesn't happen by withdrawing and, like you said, living an insular experience. Sometimes I'm asked, well, isn't Gaia okay? Isn't Pachamama, Mother Earth okay? Because she's just ascending, right? She's just ascending, and this is all meant to happen. And I want to scream when
Mm,
I hear that.
Hmm.
yeah.
She's not okay.
Yeah.
We are destroying her beings left, right, and center.
Yeah.
She is begging for us to awaken. We
Hmm.
are poisoning her and thus ourselves. Like, no, my friends, not okay. Now, I'm not telling you that to send you into despair and under your covers for 3 days. I'm telling you that because we can activate in service to something different. And
Yeah.
that's what Mother Earth is asking us to do.
I love that. And I think we're all like the same way that we have soul or spirit, we all are the earth as well.
Yes.
We are Mother Earth. So she's not doing great. Like, just look around.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. There is no separation. We are her, she is us. What we do to her, we do to ourselves. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, again, like, I love that you brought in the self love and the self compassion, and really like, how are we treating ourselves too?
Mm.
Because when we come into that right relationship, I think there's so much more hope that we can come into that relationship with the earth, with each other, with
Yes.
entities and beings and anything else that's around.
Yes. And it feels amazing,
Yeah.
right? Like the natural world is where I get all the sourcing of loving energy for myself. Every single day I am outside. Now, I chose a place to live where I can do that.
Hmm.
You can
which
do it
is
here
which is
too. It's a little colder though.
It's just preparation. That's all it is.
yeah,
Adequate
exactly.
preparation.
Yes. But it's crucial. I think it's absolutely crucial, because when we spend too much time within walled off space,
Mm,
we do isolate and we do disconnect from an entire intricate web of life that we are part of.
mm.
It's just so much more delicious to recognize our part in the living world.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm curious, how else do you like refresh yourself? So being in nature, getting outside, how
Yeah.
else do you like connect and keep that channel sort of open and accessible? Like, you just dropped in immediately and you're just like
Yeah.
boom there.
Yeah.
So how do you like maintain that?
Yeah, well, that it's my favorite place to be, is in the channeling space. It is such an incredibly beautiful and powerful place. Relationships are really important to me, and
Mm,
so nourishing relationships, deep sisterhood, right? My girlfriends are absolutely essential to my mental health and emotional health and well-being. Not to leave men out, I have wonderful relationships with male friends as well. Like,
Oh,
just making sure that those who are in my inner circle belong. And
yeah.
for a lot of us, we have maybe one or two or 10 or 12 people that no longer belong, not because there's anything wrong with them, but we grow. Sometimes we outgrow. And
hmm.
it can be very painful to acknowledge that, and then do the gentle work, hopefully, of releasing that person or taking a little bit of space back for yourself. I heard you guys mention your dogs. I am a collector of senior dogs. I have 4 around me right now. That is absolutely how I replenish my spirit. They are so cute. It causes cuteness, aggression. Yes, I just
I I saw your puggle
Cuteness,
on the
aggression. I
website.
love
I was very impressed that you have a little floppy-eared puggle. That was nice.
I mean, they're all sorts of different breeds, different brands, whatever. I don't really care. I just
it.
want old dogs, and I want them around me all the time.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
They're like so relaxed and chilled out.
They are. They're all sleeping right now. It's not always the case, but as
Mm.
soon as I say to them, let's go to work, they march into my office. They all have a bed that they lay in, and they're just like, okay, we're good here. It's beautiful. But my connection with animals and trees and plants is really, that's where I receive most of my joy and like this beautiful cleansing and loving energetic.
Mm, amazing.
I have one more thing that I wanted to ask you about. When we were on the road quite a bit, we were using brain science to kind of help maybe bridge the rational gap for mindfulness to our constituents. And
Constituents.
it's,
Students?
sometimes it's helpful. Like if you're teaching teachers or engineers yoga, sometimes they like to hear that kind of stuff. One of the things that we would talk about is the PCC, or the posterior cingulate cortex, and how turning that off is one of the things that allows flow. Because like if you hear your name, or if you're kind of absorbed in self-consciousness, like that's so often like when you miss a free throw, when you miss a flip in the
Mhm.
Olympics, when you are awkward, it's the PCC is on and you're self-conscious. And like finding a way to shifting and turning that off seems to be what you do. And I wonder if you've ever couched it in that language before, or does it even resonate for you?
So I am gonna say probably my constituents would not I wouldn't garner as many votes from them if I
Mm,
was talking about the posterior cingulate, what did you call
Cortex.
it? Cortex.
cortex.
Yeah.
Mm,
And in my neuroanatomy days,
yeah.
that was certainly something that would have, that I would have been really versed in, but
Hmm.
you are definitely far more versed in it than I am right now. What I find that, at least for my people, like the people who are drawn to my work or want to learn how to channel, I pride myself in making it really accessible and relatable.
Hmm.
And so my group may not be like the neuroanatomists or, scientists, et cetera. That's not, I have physicians and attorney, like there's a lot of people that I channel for and that take my classes, but I'm finding that they don't necessarily need a specific orientation to where in the brain is this occurring, because truth is, we don't know enough.
Hmm.
I believe we have a long way to go. We know a lot, but not enough.
Hmm.
And I really follow the Heart Math Institute. I love them. I follow their research. I have their inner balance trainer that I wear on my earlobe for meditation. I believe in a global coherence, that we are adding to the coherent field of humanity. And I think what they're putting out there is really relatable for the masses. It's made like we all of us could easily understand how it is that the thoughts of the mind affect the rate of the heart, right?
Hmm.
Vice versa. And the field, an electrical field of the heart, is far more vast than what we thought. At least heart math has helped me to understand. I now place so much more value on the wisdom and the integrity and the intelligence of the heart, more
Hmm.
so than the brain. We've been overly focused on the brain, the brain, the brain, but actually the heart is so intelligent, and it will pick up on signals and energy and presence before the brain can even register anything.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like the angle that I come from when I'm teaching about this, and it seems to work for my constituent.
Do you ever like have beings that just like drop in, like ring the bell and are like, "Hey, I need to tell you something."
Sometimes, yeah. Like sometimes I'll have a session with someone and their loved one, or whoever it was that we were channeling. The session ends and they're like, but wait, one more thing. And I'm like, no,
Hmm.
no, no,
You're
it's okay. I'll
silent.
listen. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll listen. And
Yeah.
if it seems really necessary, then I'll
Yeah.
communicate something. But it's not, my channeling is not predictive in any way. It's not like, oh, you must do this because if not, that's going to happen. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's tuning in only for that moment and giving you all that's available for you for that moment, so you can be in your highest version as you navigate whatever you're navigating. But yes, I get visited Plenty. Mostly it's by my guides who,
Yeah.
wait for me to get in the shower or be looking at cereal boxes in the grocery store or something. And they're like, this is something you want to pay attention to, or how about this person? Or they'll drop in like that. But very rarely is there anyone pesky that I have to just, move
Right.
along.
Mm. Like my
Yeah.
knife guide.
No,
Mm.
no dwarves with knives.
Mm. Uncomfortable. Mm.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're like in communication with them, with your
Yeah, I'm
guides, like fairly
with mine.
regularly. Yeah.
Yes, mine are always welcome. They're hilarious, and so we're always laughing, and they don't. Our guides aren't ever going to judge us. They're not going to be like, "Dude, why didn't you listen to me? Look what a mess you made of it." That's not the energy. They're just like, "Oh, okay. So you asked for this information. We gave you this information. You chose to use it in that way. Okay, what would you like to do now?"
Right.
Mm.
How can we follow along with these interesting human antics, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But there's no, it's love.
Yeah.
It's all love, and we are loved, and we are cherished, and we're always surrounded.
Mhm. Oh, that's such a good message. And tell everyone where they can also have a session with you because they're so, so, so beautiful. I just want to share your work with everyone. It was
Who
such a gift and a
who did you speak to?
blessing. We spoke to a non-named spirit guide.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
a very powerful spirit guide. Yes.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
my website is soulinsight.com. That's how people can
Mhm.
schedule with me. You can see my recorded classes on there, and on social media. While I stay off of it, I have my work on there, and it's at Stephanie Intuitive Channel.
Beautiful. And we'll put all those links in the show notes. I wanted to tell you actually, I have some goddess cards and I was playing with the goddess cards after our session. And then said, which goddess was present? And then
Who
the
was it?
card Oshun came out. Oshun, she's a
Tell me about that
Yoruba,
one.
she's a river goddess. She's like one of the
Oh,
main river goddesses in the religion Yoruba.
Oh, the West African.
The West African religion,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it
And
was
what are her
beautiful.
characteristics? What does
It's like
do you
kind
remember?
of like a Mother Earth type goddess, but
Mm,
like of the water, like very abundant and rich and beautiful and overflowing. Yeah, it
Hmm.
was interesting.
amazing. Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I learned something too. Thank you.
But I kind of felt like she was like all the goddesses, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
When she was
yeah,
coming through, I was like, oh, she's just like the Davy. She's like all of them. Like the whole
yes.
goddess energy is there.
Well, you've really been a delight to talk to today, and I hope next time we're in Boca Raton, we should meet up.
Yeah.
You should come and meet my sleeping senior dogs and
Uh,
my beautiful garden. I'm growing everything, and it's really a sacred space here. You are welcome.
Thank
the same.
you.
If you need to escape, we have a home for you, so you
But
can always.
probably you only want to come in summer.
Yeah,
Well, thank you both so much. You guys are hilarious.
that's
It was
awesome.
such a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
It was so fun.
So, this conversation with Stephanie Banks invites us into a really interesting question. What if channeling isn't something that only a unique, gifted few can do? But what if it is in the capacity of our consciousness that we can all learn to access? Maybe we don't access it in quite the same way. Maybe it doesn't come out with the exact same expressions, but we all have intuition, energetic awareness, subtle perceptions, and are understanding reality through vibration and sound. And so for me, when I first began channeling light language and really starting to strengthen and allow and welcome and work on my own connection to perception, to subtle perception, to the clairs in whatever form they were emerging in, opening up to feeling the subtle energy of the body, both in our physical body and around our body. It was something that I felt changed my relationship to not just myself and my own body, but my relationship with other people, to the world, to how I saw my parents, to how I see my son, to how I live my life. It changes everything when you start to open up the door to the fact that you're not limited to your body, and your body isn't a limitation and it's not a hindrance, but it's an asset, it's a gift, it's a portal to things that exist beyond the body. And so I just welcome you to continue to explore in these ways, in whatever ways you feel comfortable with. And just start to maybe ask yourself the question, where might I be receiving guidance that maybe you've been dismissing or not paying attention to, or sideswiping as just imagination? And so maybe it's showing up as a sudden knowing, or a message through meditation, or a sensation in your body, or a gut feeling, or a feeling in your heart, or just an awareness of something unseen, or knowing there's some support around you in some way. Just instead of trying to prove or analyze it or doubt it or ignore it or just say, oh, that's just me imagining, right? Just simply notice it and get curious about it. And that's often the first step to opening up into this expanded awareness. So if this conversation sparked something in you, some questions or experiences you'd like to share, I would so love to hear from you. I love getting to know you and just being in conversation with you. So send me a message on Instagram at Harmony Slater Official. And if you're curious about exploring how these emotional patterns and energetic awareness shape our perception and change our bodies, and how we can shift our bodies from the inside out and reconnect back into that energetic intelligence and that energy blueprint that we're meant to be living here with our full vitality and energy intact and in connection with ourself, our highest self, and our embodied self, then be sure to ask about the Radiant Energy Method with Angelica and I. There's still time to come inside, and you'll find the links in the show notes. And until next time, I'm going to trust that you're going to explore the unseen world and tune in to that inner knowing and get curious about how you can create more harmony both within and outside of yourself. That's it. We've concluded another episode of the Finding Harmony podcast. I just want to thank you so much for doing the work that changes the world, starting with yourself. It truly does make a huge difference. Please make sure you have your automatic downloads turned on wherever you listen so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. I have so much more magic I can't wait to share with you. Lastly, if you're on Instagram, I love connecting and hearing from you. So come on over and say hello at Finding Harmony Podcast. And you can also come say hello to me personally at Harmony Slater Official. Thank you again for being here. I cannot wait to share more with you in our next episode.